Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels, and yes, folks, we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we get going, a few of the usual disclaimers. So, yes, folks, I have spent most of the day cleaning. I've been going out of my way to keep things up since, the landlord decided to scare the hell out of me a couple of weeks back and scare the hell out of me again today. No, folks, nothing bad happened. Just a note on my door, and then when I read it, breathing a sigh of relief because it's just the HVAC people coming to change the filters. But needless to say, just in case and to make sure there are no more incidents, I'm going to be cleaning everything up real stupid o'clock a.m. early tomorrow. And of course, me switching over to the vape, all switching over to the vape. But I just want to make sure they have nothing to complain about. Alright, now for the usual disclaimers. Alright, folks, you are going to see the link to this intake form that we're going over this evening, as well as the other miscellaneous DPPC reports right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject. The templates, folks, it doesn't just link to one to stop improper restraints and adversive therapies in public schools. Also, it links to others, like getting people with disabilities to not have to fear constantly being put on the poverty line. So please follow that link in the ever-present and self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, folks, I know this because I speak from experience. When you get stuck on SSI, Medicaid, and work straight out of high school, they do your damnedest. If you got a label and you got a disability, then make sure you stay on it. And I guarantee you, getting $675 a month is not enough in order to pay rent, utilities, and also be able to eat. Take it from somebody who's had to try it. Alright? It's ridiculous. And then when they sit there and tell you, oh, if you make over $900 a month, though, we're going to start yanking your Social Security away. You have no idea how many times I got put in the red because they decided I made too much money and started yanking money out of my bank account. It is a thing. So please take a look at those templates, all right? Okay, thank God I'm no longer on it. My job may suck a good majority of the time, but I love the people I work with, and I sure as hell would rather be living pay to paycheck, but still barely fucking making it, to not making it at all. Alright. So, when we talk about the Judge Rotenberg Center, trigger warning, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones, alright? Cool. Alright, I am pseudo-awake, but I still might stumble over my words. It's been a day, so my apologies in advance. Okay, and we are going to another incident. Let me make sure it's not the same incident, folks. Yeah, we already went over that one. Let me go down. Okay, so this is from June the 5th, 2006. Another one. All right, let's take a look here. They call it a non-emergency, of course. Internal act, physical injury, burns, scalding, burn. Again, another burn. Burns, folks. Multiple. Oh, but they're not going to take them to the doctor. They don't want to expose what they're actually doing there to the wider world now, do they? Allegation summary. Facility uses electric shock treatments on client students, and a number of the students are burned by these shock treatments. Gee, you think when you're shocking a student with 45 milliamps and putting it on some of the most sensitive parts of the skin on the body, such as the underarms, the thighs, and the torso, why would we be surprised when there are burns along with the other pain that this device is designed to do, according to Matthew Israel's own words, no less. Oh, but it's okay because it's treatment. God. Okay. Moving on. If any information of criminal activity is revealed during the civil investigation, contact the police, blah, blah, blah. They're not contacting anybody because apparently, as long as you're abusing and torturing disabled people, it's not considered criminal activity. And you people wonder why we think the world is ableist. And I love Darth. Do not get me wrong. I love Darth. But you gotta live it to understand it. And what am I talking about? The ableist world that is, yes, built against us, okay? And this place here still being in existence is my exhibit A. I've got a lot more exhibits. Just ask. And I've got plenty of receipts to back it up. Plenty of receipts, folks. We're not looking out for normal people to trash. We're talking about real situations with real documented evidence. All right? Okay, now that we got that out of the way. SPDU action. TPR Grant reports reviewing this case on June the 5th, 2006. At this time, TPR Grant suggests that the civil investigation proceed to obtain more information. If there is any evidence the injuries sustained by the ALV were the result of criminal activity, suspend the civil investigation and contact the police, all that. Let me put it bluntly for you folks. They are never going to do a criminal investigation on this place, no matter what they fucking do to these kids, because according to our government, as proved by the July 7th decision, and the further decision to not review the case, our national government don't consider us people. And yeah, if you want further backing up, how about the fact that people with disabilities were actually denied life-saving ventilators during this pandemic? You think I'm kidding? Look it up. Moving on. Reporters stated that facility uses electric shock treatments on client students, and a number of the students are burned by these shocks. Last summer, 2005, blank, who was blank, was burned so badly on both of his arms that they had to take him off the electric shock key. And again, they called this a GED vacation. See case 60801, screened DSS due to LAV's age. Reporters stated that some co-workers reported to her that they also observed some burns, old burns or scars from the electric shock TX on other clients. So this is one of the other clients. There are several reports that are exactly like this, folks. That's what they're saying. This is all coming from the same time period. You see another one, June 5th, 2006. And yes, we're going to go through them individually because I want to make a point. You have case after case after case that went to this hotline. Case after case after case. Talking about severe burns. Talking about catatonia. Talking about these bizarre behavioral lessons that are continuously dismissed by the DPPC, by the District Attorney's Office current in Massachusetts, and by the DC Circuit Court most recently. They put these reports aside and just push them off as though they don't matter because it's treatment and that's what they need. They either buy the lie or they're getting paid to buy the lie. It could be a mixture of both, which is even more disturbing now that I think about it. Is this the freedom that the JRC is talking about? Is this the freedom to be traumatized at a similar regular basis at the drop of a hat by staff? To be tormented with shocks, whether they give the proper behavior or not? To have to earn your food bite by bite? To have to earn the things such as the right to be able to sleep or do regular self-grooming things? Is this the freedom that they're talking about when the DC Circuit Court says they now have to live with the freedom from self-injury? Really? Maybe they have freedom of self-injury, but they do not have freedom from being starved, sleep-deprived, tortured, or traumatized. And I'm sorry, folks, if that's freedom, I don't want any part of it. And you wouldn't want any part of it. Right? Right? If these tactics were so successful, why are they not used by the wider psychiatry circles around the world? If it was so successful in stopping suicidal ideations, why is this device and these behavioral lessons being used in mental hospitals, not just across the states, but across the world? They sit there and call extreme tactics, extreme measures for extreme cases, and we don't understand. But here's the fact, folks. People all over the world have just as severe cases as their worst case scenarios that they show on those tapes. And don't forget, folks, they stage those tapes. They stage those tapes. But devil's advocates say they are as bad as the JRC wants us to believe they are. Are we really supposed to believe that nowhere else in the world has anybody as quote-unquote severe with self-injurious behavior, more severe with suicide ideations, more severe with aggressiveness than those students at the JRC? Because you have to forgive me if I take that with a grain of salt. That's garbage, and we all know it. See, the truth is the wider population, not just the US, but the world, have these individuals in their populations. And guess what? The quote-unquote severe are successfully treated every day. Yes, we have those who fall through the cracks. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that we don't. I used to work for the state, folks. Part of what I did was fight with everything that I got against my own fucking state while working for my state, no less, risking my own livelihood due to the people that were falling through the cracks. Remember, I lost one of them to suicide who were denied treatment. I get it. But this is not the answer. And there has been those who have been treated successfully with humane treatment programs. Okay? The answer is not to throw them here, folks. The answer is to make those programs that have been found to be successful more widely available and take away the stigma for those folks who need those programs. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and close out this evening. We don't get very many views on this channel, and the few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this evening, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye bye.